for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome in to Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. Johnny Hill producing as always. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. Plenty to get to after a very, very busy weekend in the sports world. NBA playoffs, NHL, Stanley Cup playoffs, MLB, the Kentucky Derby. Plenty of stuff going on this weekend, so a lot to get to over these next 3 hours. We've got some great guests joining us to talk about everything as well that happened over the weekend. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well. 150 years of the Kentucky Derby and the closest one ever, a three-way dead heat, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great ending, and kind of the suspense of everybody kind of hanging out around and trying to figure out who actually won this thing, and it was fun, and finally we figured out, we got a winner, and it was kind of weird because they were interviewing the owner of the horse, and they were like, "You just won the Kentucky Derby. How's it feeling?" He's like, "Well, don't say anything yet. I don't want to, I don't want to jinx anything." And then I think mid-interview,
and we know it can change there.
Sure. So it was definitely a fun weekend at the Kentucky Derby. Our old boy Fierceness, the heavy favorite. He kind of lost his gusto towards the end, but
that was my guy.
Yeah, it was your guy, Johnny. But that's all right. It was a good finish nonetheless.
Yeah, Johnny, you in your win place showing fourth, 0 for 4.
Ooh,
man,
Johnny needs some Brett, to humble him.
Hey, Brett, it get rough in these Derby streets, man.
It does. Running in that mud, they were running in. Bryant, you were 1 for 4.
Okay, all right, a little bit better. I love it.
Alan Bell, Bruce Marshall, Dick Girardi, and Brett, all 2 for 4.
Wow, how about that? I should have listened more to y'all instead of my gut.
And had all that working your way, but it was a fun race. But I'm afraid none of the 3 that were in the photo are going to Baltimore for the Preakness.
Are they not?
I don't think so.
Wow, I have no idea. Honestly, I'll watch the Kentucky Derby. After that, I'm kind of lost after that.
Even if we got a Triple Crown?
I'll watch, but I mean, I couldn't tell you anything about those races or anything. I mean, I know a little bit about the Derby, but
you can go in depth with the breakdown like we did Friday.
No, probably not. I could will myself into it, but I would definitely have to do some research beforehand.
It's one of the things about going to the track that never did that much for me. Is it just takes so long in between races.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you can't, get them out there and run them like you're running the, 220 hurdles.
Sure.
I understand that, but hey, man, it's a lot of downtime.
It is, and it's a long build up for the Kentucky Derby once they get their broadcast going.
Almost longer pregame than Super Bowl.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I flipped it over at about 5 because I was hanging out with Melinda, my girlfriend, and she was like, "In the Kentucky Derby this afternoon?" I was like, "It absolutely is." And so I flipped it over. I was like, "Let's see what they're doing over there." I flipped over. She was like, "Oh, it's about to happen." They're like walking the horses over. I go, "Oh, no. We have like a whole another hour before they even run." She was like, "That doesn't make any sense." I was like,
They're over there bareback and in saddles and in the job. Boy, it is tedious for me, really 1, maybe 2 max 3 weekends a year. And, it's just where we are kind of as a sporting country. Brian, in the 50s, there were really 3 sports in the United States: baseball, boxing, and horse racing, and college football.
Yeah.
Pro football was distant fourth, and NBA was way down the list.
When I'd say
college basketball, very down.
Sure.
A little like now, very niche-y.
Mm-hmm. Well, and unfortunately, you talk about those kind of 3 big sports, and I'd say 2 of them. I mean, how many people are just talking about boxing? I mean, I was listening to Greg Gaston this morning. He was talking about some big-time boxer that had a boxing match over the weekend. I had no idea it even happened. And
me either.
Kind of same thing outside of the Kentucky Derby with horse racing. People just do not keep up with it, and it's interesting just how much things have changed. Because you're right, especially boxing and horse racing. Those were, two sports that a lot of people really cared about across the country, and now it's just kind of the complete opposite.
For me, big boxing fan in the 70s, and the big heavyweight fights seemed like Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Ali, Frazier, Foreman, Ken Norton, Jimmy L, and other. There were a lot of them that Wide World of Sports on Saturday really made it prominent. And then along came the 76 Olympic team with Sugar Ray Leonard and others, and that had a great boost for boxing into the 80s. For me in boxing, something happened. I know it was an accident. I know, nobody wanted it. But when Boom Boom Mancini was in the fight that Dooku Kim later died from the injuries from it, and as the 80s wore on and the alphabet soup of organizations and just the shysters around it, I was done with boxing probably about the time Buster Douglas beat Tyson. When after that, I was done with boxing the rest of the 90s. And when we had the fight here, I didn't go and turn down covering it for one national radio outlet. I just didn't want to be around it. I'll still watch Olympic boxing, 3 rounds, headgear, protective headgear, etc. Not that I'm that Puritan about it, but I just couldn't do it. But horse racing really never grabbed me because of the slowness of it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's mighty slow. And I think that's kind of
hurry up and get there.
Yeah. But it is interesting how things have changed. I'm kind of with you on.
But
boxing.
I love baseball, and that's a knock on baseball. But so many is how slow it is.
How slow it is. No, you're right about that. But about boxing. It is so interesting now because it's just not there, and there's like a couple of boxers that will draw a lot of attention. But
I couldn't name one.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and there's only a couple that come to my mind. And
I would not change chairs to watch MMA.
Yeah, well, and in MMA, it kind of seems like it's on the other end. It seems like it's kind of gaining popularity.
I do agree with you on that, Brian.
As more time goes
they do
on.
a better job of promoting that over boxing.
Oh, they promote.
They
crazy.
do way better than that.
And I think that's a big part of it is promoting. But I feel like we've talked a lot through the first month of the Major League Baseball season of weather has played a factor. Seems like this weekend was the weather weekend. A lot of delays, a lot of postponements. Cardinals involved in a 3-hour rain delay in the bottom of the 10th inning Saturday night when they were playing the White Sox. So it was just a very weird weekend weather-wise for Major League Baseball.
It has been, and in the Cardinals, it took 52 seconds to resolve it once it started back after that long a delay, and nobody wants that, and they were really trying to wedge it in. In fact, both teams had to play in it, so not an advantage for either one. Nobody put out either way because both teams were out there in it. But that whole 10th inning probably shouldn't even have started.
No.
But they were trying to get it in, and then when they got back, C.B. Buckner had a strike zone that Wilt Chamberlain couldn't hit in.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. The final strike that was called on Ivan Herrera to end that game.
Felt like CB was ready to go home, didn't it?
It seemed like it, and honestly, I don't know if I can blame him. You got to do your job at the end of the day. But I think everybody wanted to go home at that point. I
didn't know CB was punching a clock, but he was ready to go.
But he was ready to go, and definitely let it be known. But I don't know. I'll be honest. I didn't have much faith in anybody that was stepping up into the box. I know it was Nolan Gorman before, I believe, and then they decided to put Ivan in there. And the way this team's been hitting, I kind of thought that we were going to come back from a 3-hour break, and however it happened, that game was going to end in some way very quickly. And but I did not think it was going to be thanks to the home plate umpire. So.
No, it was pretty bad. I'd gone to the Showboats game and then went to a deal to watch the Kentucky Derby downtown, and the Cardinal game. I'm looking at my phone. I'm going, what's going on? why are we stopped?
Whew, I mean,
And it was a wow.
Out of nowhere, a downpour in St. Louis. I mean, it came out, and then we
And lose
played
2 out of 3 to the White Sox.
Yeah, and I fear, Brett. I know
What was the bet at the Dacus house?
Well, there was no bet, but I'm telling you, one of us is a lot more happy and has been showing their colors more than the other. I can assure you of that. It was not a great weekend for me in my household. But Brett, I fear, today we're going to talk a lot of baseball at 4:30. Johnny, today could be the day. I fear it. I feared it a couple of times.
It may not get to 4:30. Wait till the night top story.
Johnny,
Okay.
today could be a day that we remember because it could be the day Brett breaks
Now,
his...
analysis and
I think he done good despite the
constructive
circumstances.
criticism
Brett,
is not in violation, is it?
Fine
It's-
line.
It is a fine line. And I played all around it.
Yes, there's a fine line.
In fact, C.B. Buckner probably would already rung me up.
Well, Steve
Angel
Buckner
Hernandez
would,
definitely
certainly. Well, you'd be ejected by Angel Hernandez at this point.
Because people pay to go see him.
That's right. That's right. And Stevie Buckner, it sounds like he's starting to kind of get in that category. But no, it was.
I can't wait
very
for the robot
interesting.
umpires.
Honestly, yeah. That was kind of the first time I've been I'm ready
I want
for
them
him.
to just stand out there, and I want people to heckle them.
Yeah, well-
Hey, hope a pigeon doesn't land on you.
Well, and that's-
What are you doing?
That's the great thing about the challenging pitches at AutoZone Park is kind of watching those umpires and then make a call. The batter immediately challenge it, and then the batter is right. And then you just kind of have to see the umpire just kind of stand there. And he has to give it's ruled a strike or whatever, and he just has to stand there and take it. It's great. It's
Now, the only thing is, for purists, traditionalists,
Sure.
etc., do we really want the end of the World Series to be like that?
True.
He calls it a ball. They challenge. It's a strike. And somebody like Angel Hernandez will give it the big.
Sure.
Will give it the big sell.
Sure.
Look at me job.
Sure. Well, but Brett, the great thing about it is Major League Baseball has a manager that, finds ways to say, we're going to change the rules, but we're not going to change the rules come playoff time. So you never know.
There's the silver lining.
Any
You're
rule
right.
that could be changed might not be here when it comes playoff time.
Who knows? Come playoff time, and it wasn't in a playoff, and I know it was a tough play, but even then I didn't know how necessary it was. But come playoff time, yeah, you can bowl the catcher over Pete Rose, Ray Fosse style if you'd like.
Sure, why not?
So you're walking me into it. I may not make it to not top
I was
story.
about to say, we might not make it to top story of the day, so I will try to get off the topic quickly and talk about, we've got a lot of picks to make today. We'll do that a little bit later. We've got NBA picks to make. We'll do that in our next segment.
Got hockey
We have
series?
Hockey picks. We'll probably do that around what's trending or whenever you want to do it, Brett, if you see a better time. Maybe not make everybody wait for hockey picks. But
we can't threaten them like that.
No. We're not threatening anybody. But we did, unfortunately, I hate to bring this up, we did make Showboat Bankroll picks over the weekend, Brett.
We
on
did, and I'm
Friday.
the big winner again,
You
Johnny.
are the big winner. You're starting to run away with it. And I believe Johnny's the big loser again. I think
Johnny
he picked
dropped
the
$30.
The Showboats.
Man, I'm
Bryant,
such
you
a
won?
homer.
I'm at
That's okay.
1,400. Bryant's at 1025. Johnny's at 855.
Right.
Johnny's 2-4 on the year. Bryant, you're 3-3. I'm 5-1 picking Showboat games.
Wow. How about that?
Man, you really got a pulse on what's going on, Brett.
Well,
knows the
I've seen
votes.
them. And
Well.
here's the pulse. Go against them.
Oh, well, that's probably a smart
When
thing
you
to
can't
do.
run block and you can't pass block, you're in big trouble.
Not a good.
You can't be out there, Brett, if you can't do either or.
No.
Almost saw the goalposts come down Saturday, and I'm not talking about being torn down.
No.
Oh, yeah, I
Late-
heard about that. I heard
Late
about
in
it.
the game, south end zone, tight end for Birmingham catches a touchdown.
Big guy.
Big guy. I thought they were coming
Oh,
down,
yeah.
Brian.
I mean, the way it was shaking, I was like, whoa. But thankfully, it stayed up. Good construction on the goalpost. I
Really
guess,
good.
to stay up. But yeah, I also have a confession to make since we're talking about our picks and stuff like that. As some people who are listening might know, I've been filling in for Dave Woloshin this week.
You have
while
phenomenal
he's been out
job.
last week, and then a couple days this week. Well, he also does golf picks, and so Dave must not be keeping up with our golf picks because he said, I want you to make the picks for me. And I said, "Oh, Dave, I don't know if that's a great idea. I'm in 4th place in ours, but whatever." Explain to me how I picked a winner, the winner for Dave, but I did not pick him for myself when it came to our picks in the afternoon.
You picked Canadian Taylor Pendrith for Dave?
I did, and he was like my second pick, I think, for Dave. And for some reason, I could have just saved myself the work and just gone with the same picks I went with Dave, and I would have had a winner, Brett. And I, for some reason, got cocky or whatever. I think it's all the, Johnny, and you've only had to experience this for like a week because you picked Scotty Scheffler.
Whoa.
Scotty Scheffler has not been in a
Where's
tournament
John
since
when you
then.
need him?
It's just interesting.
Why we got to bring this up, Johnny?
Bringing up bad memories, man.
The pressure
Brad, I can never win with Brian.
of picking first, I think, is what got into my mind. It was playing tricks on my mind, and I went against the picks I had already made, 4 hours prior? I mean, ridiculous.
I'm sorry that golf picks have gotten so ugly this year and turned us into mere animals.
It really has.
Turning us against each other.
The year just started. I mean, there's a lot of season left.
Do you realize next week is the PGA Championship, the second of 4 majors this year?
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. So maybe not as early as I thought it was.
This week, Wells Fargo and the Myrtle Beach Classic, and we will pick them both Wednesday.
Of course we will.
And then next week, what used to be Glory's last shot is now Glory's second shot.
How about that? Well,
PGA Championship at Valhalla, and in Louisville had the Derby, last week,
Sure.
and next week PGA Championship.
Holy cow! What a 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that's incredible. But as everybody knows, I'm the king of making picks for the secondary tour stop. So, we picked the straight up winner last time, so maybe we could have similar success. I don't know.
So you're calling it Myrtle Beach, huh?
I don't know what it will get me. Probably nothing
Not much.
like the first one did.
Like the Boca Raton Bowl.
Yes, correct. But we'll see. But we got plenty to talk about today throughout the show. Let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, we'll talk some NBA, some good games over the weekend, but we also have some picks to make for those series. We got one starting tonight, so we'll make some picks. We'll also talk what happened over the weekend and preview Game 2 tonight between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. 3:45, we'll talk about everything that happened over the weekend. Like I mentioned, just a very, very busy weekend. So we'll talk a lot about what we were keeping an eye on over the weekend. 4 o'clock, David Cobb. He joins us every single week from CBS Sports, talk some college football and college basketball. Plenty to get to with David Cobb at 4 o'clock. College basketball transfer portal, college football news, a lot to get to at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll get into some more baseball talk. I'm sure a lot of talk about the Cardinals, a really, really poor showing from them all weekend long against the Chicago White Sox, but a lot of other news in Major League Baseball. And don't look now, but the Oakland A's might be good. I mean, who would have thought?
Sure could be.
But a game
Remember,
under 500.
Bruce Marshall said he thought Mark Kotsay was doing a great job.